This is Undertale, Condensed. Long ago, two races ruled over Earth, humans and monsters. One day, war broke out between the two races. After a long battle, the humans were victorious. They sealed the monsters underground with a magic spell. Many years later, an unnamed human child climbed a mountain and fell into the underground. This child was the first human. You play as the seventh human to fall into the underground. The game plays out differently depending on whether you decide to kill or spare the monsters you come across. For a happy and complete story, you should spare everyone you encounter. Anyway, the story starts with you waking up on a flower bed. You meet a talking flower named Flowey. Flowey starts by teaching you how things work in the underground, and it isn't long before he reveals that he's evil. Thanks to the goat mom, Toriel, you're saved from Flowey's attempt to kill you. Toriel guides you through the ruins, but she steps away for a bit to take care of some business, leaving you to make your way alone. You eventually make it to Toriel's home, where she makes you some butterscotch cinnamon pie. She's expecting you to stay with her in the ruins, but you ask if you can leave. Toriel goes to the basement with the intention of destroying the exit, leaving you no choice but to fight her. Of course, Toriel doesn't want to hurt you, so she ultimately agrees to let you leave. On the way out, you bump into Flowey again, and he speculates on the choices you might have to make in your journey. Exiting the ruins, you find yourself in a snowy forest where a shadowy figure comes to greet you from behind. Meet Sans, the skeleton, a chilled-out dude with a happy-go-lucky attitude. Sans has a brother named Papyrus, a dorky yet passionate skeleton who's dead set on capturing a human. Papyrus set up a bunch of elaborate puzzles and traps to capture you, but they don't really work out. Sans is with him the whole time, and he's simply enjoying the show. After going through the forest, you enter Snowdin Town. Passing through the town and heading outside, you encounter Papyrus again, who's blocking your way. He has no plans to kill you, but he does capture and send you to his homemade prison. You're able to walk right out, leading to yet another confrontation with Papyrus. At the third encounter, Papyrus gives up and you can choose to be friends with him. If you do, you visit his house and he shows you around. If it wasn't clear already, Papyrus is practically harmless and he's rather childish, though in a charming way. The two of you go on some kind of date, after which he friendzones you. His loss. So great, you've made a friend, but the show must go on. You continue on to the waterfall where a new threat emerges. Undyne, the head of the royal guard, is actively hunting you down. You're eventually forced into facing Undyne head on. She launches into a monologue about how Asgore, the king of the monsters, needs 7 human souls to free everyone from the underground, and you're the last soul they need. She stops her monologue and decides to just fight you. At a certain point, the only option for you is to run away. The chase comes to an end when you arrive at the Hotlands, where Undyne passes out from the heat. Since you're a nice person, you pour some water on her. Thanks to you, Undyne wakes up, and she simply leaves the area. If you want, you can go back and visit Undyne's house with Papyrus. Papyrus really wants you to become friends with Undyne, so after introducing you to her, he bails. The situation starts off kind of awkward, given her repeated attempts to kill you, but that doesn't stop her from aggressively establishing a friendship. The hangout ends with Undyne's house in flames, but now you and her are officially buddies. Awesome. Proceeding to the Hotlands, you find a lab and meet Dr. Alphys, the royal scientist. Alphys is intensely shy and awkward, but she seems genuinely interested in helping you out. One problem though is that she made a homicidal entertainment robot named Mettaton, and he makes you his main guest star for his TV show. While you traverse the Hotlands, Mettaton persistently antagonizes you, but at least he's creative about it. Mettaton isn't the only big threat around, there's also Muffet, the leader of the spiders. You get caught in Muffet's web, but after receiving word that you haven't hurt any spiders in your journey, she lets you go. You make it to the MTT resort where Sans invites you for dinner. Sans talks about how he made friends with someone by telling them knock-knock jokes through a closed door in Snowdin Forest. Over time, as they've grown closer, the other person asks Sans to watch over any humans he might come across. He obviously keeps this promise, because if he didn't, After having dinner with Sans, you enter Core, a facility that provides power for the entire underground. You run into Mettaton again, and this time he transforms into this fruity looking thing. Because of this encounter with him, the ratings of his show go way up. Mettaton's batteries eventually run out, but no worries, he's not dead, he's just dormant. You make it to the new home, the capital of the underground, where the monsters tell you the story of the first human. Long ago, the first human fell into the underground, where he was found by the king's son, Asriel. The first human was adopted by the king and Toriel, and he became best friends with Asriel. Then one day, the human became sick. Asriel carried the human back up to his village, where he was attacked. Asriel died from his injuries, which angered the king, leading to him declaring war on humanity. It's a sad story indeed. You arrive at Judgment Hall, where Sans judges you on your past actions. If you've been pretty good so far, not killing anyone, Sans will cheer you on. You finally meet King Asgore in his garden. He's not exactly itching to fight you, but he knows he has to. Once the fight ends with his defeat, Asgore explains he never wanted to hurt anyone. He just wanted to bring hope to the underground. You decide to spare Asgore, only for Flowey to come in out of nowhere and finish him off. He breaks the game and destroys your save file, so things are looking kinda bad. Flowey absorbs the human souls and becomes this ugly looking thing. Fortunately, the human souls help you fight back, which ultimately results in Flowey's defeat. Despite everything, you still spare Flowey and leave the underground. In the epilogue, Sans calls you to let you know about the situation in the underground. The dialogue can vary depending on who you killed or spared. Afterwards, Flowey pops in to tell you how you could achieve the true ending. As long as you haven't killed any monsters, and you've already made friends with Papyrus and Undyne, that's great, you're on the right track. The only thing left to do is to reload your save file and make friends with Alphys. Undyne will have you deliver a love letter to Alphys, but it's not signed, leading to Alphys thinking that you are asking her out. The two of you go on a date in the garbage dump, where Alphys confesses that she has feelings for Undyne. Undyne unexpectedly shows up and reciprocates her feelings, after which Papyrus whisks Alphys away to help her better herself. Because of what Alphys said earlier about anime not being real, Undyne is conflicted and asks you to confirm the truth. Yes, these details are important to the story. Anyway, you head on back to Alphys' lab and find the True Lab, where Alphys has been conducting some shady experiments. Human souls were deemed unique because they had determination, which allowed them to persist after death. Alphys tried combining monsters with determination, which resulted in amalgamates. Monsters fused together into strange creatures. The determination experiments were a failure, and Alphys tried her best to bury her work. When Alphys finds you in the True Lab, she decides to come clean to everyone about her failed experiments. Now you're ready for the true ending. You head on back to face Asgore again, but this time, Toriel comes by and stops the fight from happening. All your friends join in, and it's all a big happy reunion, until Flowey pops in to ruin everything. Flowey takes everyone's souls, which allows him to transform into his true form, Asriel Dreamer. Whoa, what? When you free the souls of your friends, Asriel starts to feel emotions. Asriel turns back into a kid and calls you by your real name, Frisk. When Asriel died, he was reincarnated as Flowey. As Flowey, he was basically a psychopath. Having everyone's souls inside him made him feel things again. Using the power of everyone's souls, he breaks the barrier between the underground and the world above. Sadly, Asriel will eventually revert to being Flowey again, so he won't be able to accompany you. With your friends, you exit the underground and enjoy the view of the sunset. Everyone leaves to do their own thing, except for Toriel. You can choose to stay with Toriel or part ways. As the end credits roll, we see that everyone seems to be doing just fine, indicating that humans and monsters found a way to peacefully coexist. And so the story comes to a close, either with a picture of you and your friends from the underground, or with you sleeping while Toriel leaves a slice of pie for you. That's a nice happy ending, right? Well, time to ruin it. You can reset the game, which will effectively undo everything you did. Like I said before, you can choose to kill or spare the monsters you come across. But if you're particularly nasty, you can kill literally everything in your path. As you continue your genocide, the monsters will comment on your unsettling behavior. Some will not even recognize you as human. Continuing your killing spree will force Sans to step in and stop you. He's a lot tougher than most monsters, largely due to the fact that he's the only one that can dodge your attacks. But if you're persistent, you can defeat him. In the confrontation with Asgore, you defeat him immediately in one hit, with Flowey delivering the killing blow. You then brutally cut down Flowey until there's nothing left. An evil entity known as Chara appears. Chara was the first human to enter the underground, and now they came back thanks to your actions. They offer you a choice to destroy the world, but whether you agree or refuse makes no difference. Chara destroys everything. If you wait around for a bit, Chara will call out to you and offer to reset the world in exchange for your soul. Should you accept, your subsequent playthroughs will be altered. Throughout the game as a pacifist, everything will seem fine and dandy right up until the very end. That's scary. Let's just pretend the Genocide Route never happens. So that's it. That was Undertale Condensed. Thanks for watching.